Media. We're exposed to it every single day of our lives. But for the normal person, nothing ever really comes of it though. But for the odd minority of people, it could cause a violent reaction. Why is that though? Why are so many more people in modern day getting these reactions? And that begs the question, does the media that we consume on the norm cause violence? I will be exploring just that in this documentary short, and I will see what other people think to this ever-increasing menace to society. But the question remains, again, will I become a violent person by being exposed to this? Will I become the very person that I vowed to never be? We'll find out. To give you a glimpse into how much violent media we've been exposed to in recent decades, we will travel back to 1993. The year started off like any other for the Bulger family, but 2 days before Valentine's, tragedy struck. Little James Bulger was an innocent toddler whose life was taken far too soon from this world. But nobody expected the kidnappers/murderers to be young children themselves. John Venables and Robert Thompson, two 10-year-olds, were responsible for the death of 2-year-old James.
Police searching for the Merseyside toddler James Bulger say a body's been found on a railway embankment close to where he went missing.
There's been a backlash against horror videos as Britain searches for answers in the wake of the James Bulger murder.
They say that someone must know the identity of the two boys who took James from the precinct.
Child's Play 3 could have been the cause of the murder of Bulger. It has been said the kids initiated a scene in which one of Chucky's victims is splashed with blue paint. If this allegation is true, then should it not lead us to question everyone around us? If I watch violent media, would I be inclined to commit a crime of this magnitude? Is my mind too strong to be influenced? We'll find out.
It was a very kind of emotional case because it was a child who had killed another child because he'd watched the film Chucky, which is obviously very violent and disturbing, and then he had replicated those acts. I feel like maybe it kind of triggered something inside them, or maybe it just influenced them in a kind of different light, and because I think they didn't really have a lot of parent intervention, they didn't know that that was necessarily wrong.
I believe that, again, it is a double-sided coin. Sometimes people are born with certain conditions, you know, mental illness conditions, which can develop and get worse with time, or there are some people who are brought up in a terrible way. You know, I'm sure there's been people who have killed and murdered who have probably had despicable childhoods, been beaten, you know, by their parents. My views on violence in video games and movies is, I think it's definitely a lot more glorified. Sometimes people are born with certain conditions, you know, mental illness conditions, which can develop and get worse with time, or there are some people who are brought up in a terrible way.
I believe that you do have the nature versus nurture, but it also works together. So you might have that kind of chemical imbalance in your brain, but you might not notice it until something like a violent video game triggers that and kind of awakens it. And then if you don't have those parental figures or like role models to kind of nurture you, then the brain will kind of find a way to do it itself, leading to going against society's norms and values and stuff and committing crime and things and being deviant.
Can we really tell which minds are capable of such horrors? Does viewing violent media change our mindsets? Is it an excuse to twist the truth? These are all questions we want answered, but unfortunately there is no conclusive proof of any of that just yet. Maybe that's for the best perhaps. Some questions are better left unanswered. The experiment was a success. I did exactly what I said I'd do. But did it come at a cost?
I'm singing in the rain, Just singing in the rain, what a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. I'm laughing at clouds so dark up above, and the sun's in my